What is going on? We're talking WWE NXT Takeover Unstoppable Fallout with Reaction Review. Your host, the Black Avenger, aka the Black Azrael, Lee Sanders. Thank you all so much for checking us out live right now for Wednesday night, May 20th, 2015. Those of you that's looking for actual WWE NXT Takeover footage, you might want to head on to WWE's.com website. If you're lucky, you may see a few highlights on the WWE Fan Nation YouTube channel right here on YouTube as we're airing live right now. But we will have the podcast version of this be available. So thank you in advance to those of you that will be checking out our podcast version on the downloads. I want to hear from you guys that saw tonight's NXT as we're live next little bit. Interact with me on Twitter at the RCWR show. Hit us up on Facebook, Infinity One Productions. That's with an E. Put in the one, spell out one, that is ONE, Infinity One Productions. Let's jump right into it. This is my favorite part of when the event is over and it's fresh. I'm giving my it's not rehearsed. You can't script this. So first off, for those of you that saw the event, wow. I mean, wow. If you are a wrestling fan, a pure wrestling fan, you couldn't help but come away from this event and say, you know what? I got my money's worth. I got my entertainment's worth. That we had got at the end. I'm not doing any teasing tonight. We're going to go ahead and we're going to jump right into it. I know we probably have new people that's checking us out for the first time. They want to know what happened with NXT. And I know not everybody might not be able to afford $10 for the W. Hey, I know how it is. Money can be tight sometimes. I'm not bashing you, but I will say take advantage, if you haven't already, of signing up for the network for free. Now is a good time to do this if you are in North America, because for the next, I guess a week and a half, you can still sign up for the W Network for free. And let me tell you something. I already told you guys, I stressed to you guys, get the network so you can check out the Elimination Chamber, since it's going to be taking on John Cena for the United States Championship. But with what we had saw to end tonight's NXT TakeOver event, the WWE Network in the past, you need to tonight, because making his WWE debut tonight was none other than the Samoan Machine, Samoa Joe, former Ring of Honor champion, former TNA Wrestling champion. Yes, that Samoa Joe made his WWE debut, and man, was it such a great markout moment. If you're a wrestling fan, in particular, if you have been a wrestling fan of Samoa Joe's for a long period of time, I go as far back with Samoa Joe. Made his TNA wrestling debut. I've been a fan of his work ever since. Now, just to recap, because unfortunately, you'd be surprised, guys, there are a small portion of wrestling fans that all they know is WWE. They eat, they sleep, they breathe WWE, and they're kind of like, who is this guy? What's the big deal? The big deal. This man is like a household name on the independent circuits. I mean, this guy is right up there with a Daniel Bryan, with a CM Punk. He's up there with a Dean Ambrose. He's up there with the Seth Rollins. I mean, you name it. I mean, he's up there with the best of them. And he spent a large portion of his time in the TNA wrestling promotion. If I'm not mistaken, I believe he came to TNA late 2000s, and he left the company actually earlier this year. And of course, a lot of rumors were running rampant. Well, is he finally going to go over to the WWE? What's going on? I remember he actually chimed some thoughts on the situation months back, saying he recalled a situation where he was at an airport, and I remember the story right. He talked about how he ran into Triple H or something of that nature, and Triple H had asked him about Samoa Joe. I think this down right around the time where Mick Foley was doing a little bit of work for TNA, and Triple H made an inquiry about Samoa Joe, and he talked about how much he had heard about Joe's work ethic and all that. So the fact that Triple H kind of heard that, and it's like, you couldn't help but wonder if in some shape or form Samoa, I'm a fan of Samoa Joe. I'll definitely be leading the pack when I say this. For the longest time, we were looking for this man to leave TNA wrestling like at least 5 years ago and just go on ahead and do the WWE, but it seemed like nothing really came to fruition. Now, if you guys were following Triple H this week, I know he did the Q&A live on Twitter earlier today before the Takeover special. So like some type of a conference call that he did the day before, where the question was asked about Samoa Joe, if he was going to be making his WWE debut with them and all that. And the only thing Triple H said was, yeah, he came to the Performance Center. He hung out with us for a couple of days and everything. That's about as far as it had went. But, when you think back in hindsight, you got to that again, the transcript of that. And you can kind of tell now that you look back on it that Triple H was actually kind of dancing around it a little bit. I don't think really the right question was asked to him, but great moment if you were a wrestling fan tonight. The way he made his debut was awesome. We're just going to jump around a little bit. Let's talk about that main event match first. It was Kevin Owens defending his NXT championship belt against Sami Zayn. Of course, we had heard about the dislocated shoulder, the rotator cuff that was nagging him from a couple of weeks back when he injured it, taking on John Cena for the United States Championship on an episode of Raw. And, the biggest question that was going on was, is Sami Zayn going to be okay going into this match? He did get cleared to compete for this match, and man, was this match, I tell you, Suplex City, that was like the theme tonight, because multiple times we kept seeing Sami Zayn connect with like a T-bone suplex, and he just kept hitting Kevin Owens with that bad boy. And you're like, damn, how the hell is Owens continuing to get out of this? I mean, at one point, Zayn was dominating. I mean, he was coming through, but the fight, the way it just, and I love just overall the production value aspect of how they did this takeover special tonight down there at Full Sail University. The crowd definitely representing. I mean, they represented big time, and you know what, they had to represent because they didn't get their fix of NXT for a hot minute, as NXT had went on the road, had 3, not mistaken. So you knew Full Sail had to represent, and they came through with flying colors. But then the momentum shift over to Kevin Owens, who was just homing in on that shoulder. I think at one point he was landing serious blows head. So you're kind of seeing where this is going. I mean, you had the referees come out. They're trying to get Owens to hold off any further attacks. They're trying to see if Sami Zayn can continue on. And I mean, Owens just snapped. He just snapped. He was going in there. He smelled blood. He was going in for the kill. And you're like, whoa, what the hell? Who's going to possibly come in and like stop this? Because it's obvious right now, this man, Sami Zayn, he's not able to continue. It almost had shades of the last NXT special that had came around, of which Owens had became the NXT champion. Because remember, when he took on Sami Zayn, that match had ended in a knockout, if I'm not mistaken. The belt had exchanged hands on a knockout, and I know us and a couple of other people, we were like, wait a minute, what the hell? And then they explained it on NXT, the reason why it was able to exchange hands and all that. And you're kind of like, well, this is a different approach. This is like not your typical, okay, all right, now that I've explained it and all that, all right, solid. But it was kind of looking like that last NXT special. I mean, it looked like deja vu. We even saw the NXT general manager, William Regal, come out, and he's trying to warn Owens no more. Enough is enough. This is over. Because Owens, he was ready to do a power bomb. He was ready to take Sami Zayn, power bomb him in the middle of the ring. William Regal was not having any of it. And we actually saw Owens just disregard what Regal was saying, and he actually tried to attack Sami Zayn, weaken Sami Zayn, just could not defend him. Very helpless. We saw William Regal grab Owens from behind, grabbed him by the nose, tried to pull him off. Owens actually attacked William Regal. So when you're just thinking about the next NXT special, not NXT special, but well, yeah, I guess you can think about the next NXT special. But what I was really trying to say was when you think about the next NXT show, the weekly series that is, you can't help but say to yourself, without a doubt, there's going to be some serious ramifications to come down on Kevin Owens. I don't think he's going to be stripped of the title. For those of you that's like, well, Lee, do you think that might happen? No, I don't think that's going to happen. I think instead what's probably going to happen, Owens may be suspended for a couple of weeks, maybe. Maybe he'll get a fine. And then I think what'll probably happen is that will probably cause conflict between Regal and Owens, because remember one of the last few burning images you saw leading up to this event tonight, we actually saw on Monday Night Raw, Kevin Owens sharing a little bit of a small chat, as that was basically to set up the green light for Owens to take on Cena at the Elimination Chamber event. So keeping in mind what happened Monday night, you see Owens put his hands on Regal. Regal's probably going to try to fine him. That fine will probably go through. They might try to pull a little bit of a page out of what's going on with the Patriots. WWE does that sometimes, all right? So the fine may stick, but the suspension, meaning that the match between Owens and Cena would be off. I have a feeling if I was booking this, if I was writing it, that's how I would set it up. But I would have Triple H, who normally when it comes to NXT, he doesn't interject when it comes to whatever the NXT GM has ruled. It's very rare he'll make his presence felt. I think this is probably going to be one of those rare occasions where Triple H will make his presence felt, and he'll insist that the elimination between Cena Owens will continue. He may let the fine go, but then again, he may disregard it totally, because you see the picture that's floating around on social media, Triple H, Owens, they're like that. But after that attack to William Regal, you're like, who's going to stop this? I mean, and to add insult to injury, you had Owens out. The champ is here t-shirt with the United States Championship belt right there. Great little diss to John Cena. I'm thinking maybe John Cena was going to come out. I won't myself, well, maybe John Cena is going to be there, and it's a situation where not necessarily he would attack, although that would be a nice little spot, but maybe he's going to make some type of a cameo. Maybe he's going to be in attendance or whatever. We didn't get that. We got the next best thing, which was Samoa Joe. You heard the music play, and you're kind of like, that kind of sounds like Samoa Joe. Joe comes out, low hair, kind of got a bald look going on, but a little bit of a buzz. He comes out, and he is just standing across from Kevin Owens, gets in the ring, and that was just a great mark out moment right there. I couldn't help but yell at the TV when I saw this. It was a fantastic moment. I tell you, those type of magical moments in these professional wrestling, it's really hard to come by, especially if you've been a wrestling fan that has seen so much. In my case, I've seen so much since the 80s, and then through my dad, grandpa, I've been able to backtrack and see what was going on in the 70s and a little bit beyond that. So for me, nowadays, very rare that I get very excited over a particular moment that's playing across television, pay-per-view, whatever. And this was moment right here, a great mark out moment. It just ended with the two of those guys just looking at each other. Kevin Owens wasn't trying to have anything to do with Samoa Joe. And one thing that we need to home in on For those of you that's like, okay, well, Samoa Joe might have made his WWE debut, but what did they refer to him as? The commentators more than once, at least 3 times, they referred to him as Samoa Joe. So that speaks volumes to me right there. I don't know about you guys, but things just got a hell of a lot interesting with regards to the NXT promotion. But you know what? That main event match, the way it was booked and everything, great. And it was freaking just, man. You can't help but feel for Sami Zayn, though. I mean, part of me kind of thinks that maybe physically he was cleared to be able to do what he needed to do. With regards to tonight, maybe he's going to rest for a couple of weeks. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't have the answers for you guys. Some of you think that his injury is fake. We're hearing reports that it's the real deal. I don't know what is going to go down next, but I do know about those ramifications of Owens attacking Regal. Smart one-on-one thinking right there for you guys. Should be interesting to see if they go that route or if they're going to go in a different direction. Want to welcome those of you that's joining us right now. We WWE NXT Takeover Unstoppable Fallout with review and reaction. Your host right here, Black Avenger, aka the Black Azrael Lee Sanders. If you're enjoying the show so far, please go out of your way. Make sure you give this a thumbs up. You're showing your love and appreciation for us. And also, I want to let you guys know, especially those of you that watched tonight's event, I do want to hear from you guys. See the special tonight. Maybe they haven't signed up for the WWE network yet. I want you guys to let them know what they're missing out on. So definitely post those comments down below and let them know what all they missed and how much excited you were to see the event. And, let's convince more people to try to check out the network, because NXT alone, it's definitely worth it. All right, let's talk about the way NXT had first began. Finn Balor, I was watching this with my girlfriend earlier tonight. She was actually able to kick back and watch a majority of the NXT matches with me. And I told her, I said, hun, put the phone down for a minute. You got to watch Finn Balor. This guy has one of the most insane, sickest, such great creativity. You got to check this out. So she put her phone down. And I mean, man, the entrance he had, I know he only does these special entrances for the takeover events. And I think that's smart. I think that is very smart. And it's never the same thing twice. The music might be the same. The way he comes out body language wise, that might be the same. But just the attire, the makeup, the paint that's used. I mean, it's like Christmas. You're like a little kid at Christmas and you're like, oh, I can't wait to see Finn Balor. I wonder what he's going to come out as. What kind of paint is he going to be pushing this go round? And man, his entrance tonight was just neat to start, which is every single time they do these little takeover events, they need to post however long it is, 2, 3, 4, 5-minute entrances for Finn Balor. They need to put it up on there. And let me tell you something, those things will get mad views. Especially when WWE monetizes the bad boy. I mean, can you just imagine if they get 1,000 likes, probably 30 likes, and they get about, I don't know, 1 million views off of that? Anywhere between, I would say, WWE, I mean, they do some pretty damn good they upload on YouTube. So, I mean, at bare minimal, 300,000 to maybe 1 million shouldn't be that hard for them. I mean, that's some decent money. Right there. Those of you that have been messing around with YouTube long enough and you're familiar with the monetization and all that, you definitely make some money if it gets in that range, especially if they monetize it. But I mean, his entrance alone is just so captivating. It's new, refreshing. And I was telling Tammy this. I said, one thing about Finn Balor, his entrance, everything about him, it is a perfect package with a ribbon on it. He is just custom made, ready. NXT fans, the NXT brand, that is the problem in itself. How do you take all that from NXT, bring it onto the main brand, and still make it very profitable. Because let's be for real, and I think many of us that check out NXT, I think you guys will back me up on this. The majority of the folks that check out NXT are the diehard wrestling fans that maybe were with the WWE during the Attitude Era and then they rolled out because it's becoming too much PG for them or whatever. And maybe a majority of those fans came back because they heard so much about NXT. So it's keeping them interested in the wrestling product again, at least programming goes. NXT is what they're checking now. I actually know people that will only check out NXT. They won't watch Raw. They won't watch SmackDown, main event. They won't watch any of that stuff. Only thing they care about is NXT. That's a lot. All right. And, you keep that in mind and you look at a guy like Finn Balor and you're like, okay, how can you make a profit off of him if you put him on the main roster? Because can you imagine the that would be there and they would watch his entrance? They might think that that's cool and everything, but like, there's really no way you can capitalize on it to the point that, mommy, I want Finn Balor wig. You know what I'm saying, guys? If they can just figure that out, obviously they're going to have to give him some type of a catchphrase or two, because that's what they do with every single body. They're going to need to kind of fine tune him just a little bit to really be able to make him be marketable. But I mean, as it stands right now, I mean, he's got the entrance, he's got the look, everything you would want. I mean, that is definitely a guy. He's got my seal of approval. Hopefully on him, because it already struck a couple of times before, but hopefully this guy, when he does come up the main roster, the level of success that he's been able to have on NXT, it will continue over. This guy, man, he stays straight, clean and all that. Mine is P's and Q's. This guy could probably be a future Impact player. I dare say a WWE champion, multi-time at that for years to come. Great entrance. I got to show love to Tyler Breeze as well. Tyler Breeze had a unique entrance as well. We've seen that done so many times. Ravishing Rick Rude. You can't help but kind of think about Gorgeous George. My personal favorite, the masterpiece, Chris Masters. He kind of used to have a little bit of a prima donna thing going on. And then you got Rob Conway. Shout out to those of you if you remember Rob Conway. I mean, his entrance alone was just badass. I mean, his song literally said, "Just look at me. Ain't I a sight to see? The whole world wants to look like me, but they don't. So just look at me." All right. So if that's not freaking arrogance at its finest, I don't know what is. But shout out if you know his new catchphrase, by the way. I think it's "Don't do it the wrong way. Do it the con way." I think that's catchphrase or whatever. Those two had a fantastic match. Number one contendership spot on the line, as whoever won that match would become the new number one contender to face. Well, now we told you who won in that main event match, as you would kind of figure out from what we told you earlier. So Owens still NXT champion. We saw Finn Balor successfully defeat Tyler Breeze. Damn good match between those two young men right there. For those of you curious, no Hideo Itami. We had some footage during the NXT Takeover kickoff. Apparently, Hideo Itami was attacked in a parking lot. We saw security and other people. They were trying to help him, and the timing of it was kind of interesting because we saw Kevin Owens, who just quietly walked past Hideo laying there on the ground and said, "Oh, how unfortunate." So that now leaves a lot of people wondering, as it was driven by the kickoff channel, if Kevin Owens had anything to do with the attack on Hideo Itami. Of course, we all have heard that Hideo Itami, he's actually suffering from injury right now, so he may be out for a little while. Hopefully, he'll have a speedy recovery and come back real soon. okay. And this is just a nice way to maybe kind of stir the pot up a little bit. Nah, I think out of 80% from what all we've been hearing, he's probably has a legit injury and needs to go out for a little bit. Tyler Bree's entrance, I just gotta make sure we show him some love. For those of you that's curious, he had like a I'm too sexy for my cat, too sexy for my cat. Oh yeah, he had like a catwalk type of entrance going on with different models coming now holding the cell phone and all that. It was nice. It was cute. Yeah, I said cute. Cute. Tyler Breeze. Go figure. One thing, his attire, I was wondering, maybe somebody can help me out that's like a fashion expert or whatever. How the hell were those? I don't know what the hell those were around his, I guess, leggings towards the bottom of his feet. How was it that he wasn't able to trip over that? And most importantly, what animal did he kill to push that? There's like a weird creature or two that comes up in my mind. Like did he take out maybe Bozo the Clown? Um, like who did he kill? He killed some type of creature, maybe from Sesame Street or something. But I just couldn't help but like gravitate towards that area the whole time and wonder how was it that he didn't trip over that stuff. I mean, it was like wrapped around his waist and all that. It was kind of off like, if you guys are familiar with Dragon Ball Z, you know how they have their tails wrapped around their waist and all that. It kind of came off like that. I just couldn't help but wonder for a majority of that match, how the hell was he not tripping legging material? Moving on, sorry about that, guys. Emma and Dana Brooks, they had lost to Charlotte and Bailey. I was picked up right here. For those of you that may be a little bit curious on how I've been enjoying the work of Dana Brooks so far, for me, Dana Brooks, she's still in her little niche in NXT. And honestly, I got to be honest. Right now, the problem that I have with her the most, this is her fault. I think this is the WWE creative as far as presentation goes. When I see her, and I don't like saying this, and this is no disrespect to her. All right, so please, folks, don't take it the wrong way. But when I see her, I say bootleg version of Beth Phoenix, bootleg version Natalya. And I don't like saying that. I mean, it's the typical blonde-haired look, the little bit of muscle, and then the color scheme that she's been using, eerily similar to that of what Natty and Beth Phoenix would push, more so Natty. And, I remember a time growing up in pro wrestling, and I used to hear these stories all the time from wrestlers that would talk about it in interviews. There used to be like this code where, for example, Randy, what color trunks are you wearing tonight? I'm going to wear black and yellow. Well, hell, that's what I got to wear tonight. And I'm the baby face. Oh, yeah. All right, well, I'll push red and you can go ahead and push that. All right, thanks, man. I appreciate that. It would never, there would never be any conflict with the colors and all that. They would try to be respectful. And, for me, every time I've been seeing this young Dana Brooks chick, that's all I keep thinking is bootleg version of Natalya, bootleg version Beth Phoenix. And they need to rework that. They really do. They have to. In-ring ability wise, at most average. There's nothing that's like really jumping out at me. And I've been watching her in particular the past couple of weeks. I definitely was paying attention to her in this match, because for me, I couldn't help but say as I was watching this match, okay, let's see how she fares with a Charlotte, with Bailey, with Emma. Let's see if she can hold her own and really blossom. And for the most part, she was able to do that. But as it stands right now, if you were to ask me if she's ready for the main roster, no, she's not ready for the main roster. Honestly, and I don't like saying this, I don't even know if she'll ever make it to the roster. I want nothing but the best for all the men and women in NXT. I want them to be able to succeed to the point that they're able to one day be on main WWE programming, but Dana just does not scream that to me right now. I hope in due time things switch up. I also hope in due time that with her working in particular with Triple H and whoever else is handling the creative for NXT and the writing and all that goes, I hope in due time they'll be able to really get great emphasis on her persona and try to figure out a way to really bring that out more so that she can connect more with the fans. Uh, some could make the argument that kind of has a connection maybe with the NXT crowd, but I think if you take her for what she is right now and put her on the main roster, I truly believe there could be some heckling going on. I wouldn't be surprised if there were Beth Phoenix chants and some other stuff that was going on. So, but Charlotte, Bailey, their chemistry has always been there, whether they faced each other or they've tag team. Yeah, I gotta say, the chemistry between girls tonight, the way they worked well with one another, man, I tell you, somebody asked me a question a couple of weeks ago. They said, Lee, do you think we would one day be able to see the women's tag team division come back? And I said, as it stands right now, with them doing this whole Divas thing, no. But I tell you what, if they were to bring back the Diva tag titles, Charlotte and Bailey would be my first pick as far as who to make champions go. Those girls work very well together. We're talking about girls. Let's talk about some more girls. I got to give a freaking house down tonight. Fantastic match. Y'all know about Becky Lynch. She's a pro wrestling veteran. She's been in this game now for a good minute. And I tell you, man, I was looking at this match. I'm saying, man, is tonight going to be the night? Is tonight going to be the night that Becky finally becomes the NXT Women's Champion? Is she finally going to make it happen? And the match was just going back and oh my God, these girls, they just freaking lit it up. They lit it up. I enjoyed this women's match more so than the tag match. And I was a little bit concerned for Sasha. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Sasha. Bank statements all day, baby. 24/7. Love Sasha Banks. But one thing I was asking myself, really hang with the pro veteran and Becky Lynch. Can she really distance with this girl? She represented. I'm telling you, man, this was right up there. This match between these two girls, this was up there with a shine match. This was up there with a shimmer match. This was up there with a WSU. This was up there. I'm going old school right here. I'm showing my age a little bit, just a little bit. But this was women's extreme wrestling way before Mickie James joined the WWE. Her and her sister were doing their thing in WEW. Shout out to those of you that remember that. All right. G.I. Ho and all that. I mean, this was like right up there. Damn good match. Damn good match. Very, very, very special. Banks, still your NXT Women's Champion. Just the reaction that Becky Lynch had got post-match from the Full Sail University crowd. Oh, it was a great moment. They gave her a standing ovation. And I'll tell you, man, Becky Lynch, she's been through a lot. I will definitely admit that from the time that I've seen her in NXT, it was a weird journey because, like, for me, I'm familiar with her. I'm familiar with her matches before, everything that she did before she came to the WWE. So for me, she was coming to the WWE. It's like, okay, this is fantastic. She's going to get her chance to shine properly. And then when I see her on NXT, it's kind of like, man, she's got to find her identity here. It's like she's got the in-ring ability. She's the freaking bomb, but the character, And I tell you, ever since she went heel, and they just been kind of adding on to that after she went heel. They just been more and more of her of her real bits and pieces of her, like with what we heard tonight. We heard about the journey that she had in becoming a pro wrestler, something about she used to be a flight attendant or something like that, a airline attendant or whatever. And you just hear the different journeys that she embarked on becoming a wrestler and then making it over to the WWE and all that. I don't know, it just the way that she is starting to come into her own. She's finally starting to find her niche, is where I'm getting at. And I dare say, I do believe that possibly when next these two girls lock it up again, or maybe somewhere else down the road, Becky Lynch just might have Sasha Banks' number. I mean, we shall wait and see. But did I say how much I love the bank statement? My God, I was screaming at the TV when we saw the payback match with John Cena and Rusev, and he puts the rope around Rusev's eyeballs and his ear and all that. And I remember, just briefly indulge me, I remember saying something along the lines of, okay, he couldn't apply that around Rusev's neck, squeeze, apply pressure, or better yet, just do the STF or whatever. And somebody had said, well, ever since the Benoit tragedy, they haven't been able to do that. And I said to that person, well, wait a minute now, wait a minute. We saw Sasha Banks do the bank statement to Charlotte to become the NXT Women's Champion. And those of you that are familiar with the move, I mean, it's basically like modified crossface, if you will. And it's like a modified crossface meets a bridge, if you will. And the way Sasha does it, she gets you around the neck. So I don't know. Maybe some people were like, that was just a one time. No. Sasha did it again tonight. And I love that finisher of hers. That is just awesome. Badass awesome. We saw Baron Corbin defeat Rhino. That match right there, I was paying very close attention to that one because I love the look of Baron Corbin. Let me stress that again. I love the look of Baron Corbin. Leading up to this match, one of my main concerns was, okay, he's got the look, but can he really hold it down in the ring for like a full length match? I don't know about you guys, but like a couple of weeks, I see somebody do these squash matches. They got like 5-6 squash matches under their belt because the match ends in 30 seconds. You know what? Okay, I get it. You're trying to build up this new character. You want all eyes on this individual. I get that. All right. But at the point, it's like, okay, well, can we really see what this person is truly capable of? Can we get like them in a match for 5 minutes? Okay, well, can we get 10 minutes? Can we get 15 minutes out of them? And this match that Baron Corbin had against Rhino, I thought was very pivotal because Rhino, in-ring veteran, I mean, he's wrestled with the best of them, whether it be in North America, or he's doing his thing in Canada, or he's overseas, he's fighting people in Japan or whatever. Rhino has faced them. It's kind of like, what better test to give a young and upcoming wrestler, performer in Baron Corbin, than to have him take on the man beast Rhino. And I gotta say, Baron did a very good job. When it was time for Baron to take the lead, several points during this match, Baron was able to do it. There was probably was a little bit rugged. It was a little bit sloppy. In particular, it was a point in the match where Baron got sent into the ropes, and he was supposed to sell it properly. He was supposed to go in the ropes, roll over, hit the apron, hit the canvas, but he got himself tangled up. It happens. Mistakes happen all the time. I mean, you can't really fault somebody for that. You know what I'm saying? The important thing is, as long as they try to decrease the number of botches, spots, etc., that's all that really matters. Other than that, that was a really good match between Baron Corbin and Rhino. He proved to me, at least in my mind, that WWE creative, or NXT creative, they can finally like really get away from this whole 27-second squash matches and all that, because for me, like every single time I turn around and I'm looking at Baron Corbin, he was just having squash matches. So it was really nice to see him kind of get pushed to the limits a little bit. It almost kind of reminded me of when Goldberg took on William Regal, WCW, and William Regal was like, "It's sunshine," and we learned the hard way that Goldberg couldn't wrestle a full length match. Man, was that match brutal. Getting back to Murphy, they defeated Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy. And you don't teach that. Those guys are kind of rubbing off on me. I know I've been a little bit critical of those guys. They're kind of rubbing off on me. Kind of interesting the route that's going on with this match too. Overall, as far as the tag match goes itself, I don't know. There's something about Blake and Murphy that just rubs me the wrong way. If you guys remember our last NXT special, I remember something along the lines of, hey, it's hard to identify the two because they got the same attire, they got the same look, and then fast forward a little bit, now they've got black and white, red, tight designs. On one pants leg it says Murphy, on the other one it says Blake. Their hairs are still similar. Now they got their hairs in like two ponytails or whatever, but it's like you kind of have to look at the trunks. Not the trunks, but you have to kind of look at their tight pants leg to see, who's who. Otherwise, if it wasn't there, you're like, who's who? Literally, because they look the same. They're okay. I mean, they're an okay tag team, but I dare say, I think Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy, I think they need to be the tag champions. I'm really surprised that Blake and Murphy continue to be the tag champions. Somebody help me out because I just don't see anything. It's just average to me. Their in-ring ability. As far as marketable goes, I really don't see anything there. With Enzo Amore, Colin Cassidy, yes, I see so much there. It's ridiculous. I mean, they got the catchphrase down and all. I mean, the whole night, they are ready to go. They are ready to go. Interesting development that came about with this tag match, though. We actually saw Alexa Bliss come out, and she had attacked Carmella. This had made Cassidy, Big Cass, step out the ring, see what was going on. He actually ended up getting a super kick from one of those guys. I couldn't even make out the tight design who had super kicked him, but that's basically how Blake and Murphy were able to retain those. And interesting development that you have right there, because now you have Alexa Bliss, who's already had past history over the past few weeks with Carmella. Now you got her kind of aligning herself with Blake and Murphy. And honestly, I think that's a good move right now, because the past few times I've been watching Alexa Bliss is another one that's kind of like, okay, she's cute, she's tiny, she's very cute, all right, but once you get past the sprinkle dust and all that, there really isn't, okay, so you can wrestle with a little ballerina fluffy skirt on. She has potential, though. I mean, if I were to really jump out there, I know a lot of people, they want to be like, who's the next Trish Stratus? Who's Lita? Who's the next Tori Wilson? Bliss has potential. I will definitely admit that. I will give her props. She has potential. It's whether or not she can take advantage of the opportunity to, make her character grow and try to make it connect with the universe. That's going to be, honestly, because what I was seeing of her up until this point, I just was kind of like, whatever, So it's interesting that you now are basically the way things are looking right now. It looks like you have all 6 of these individuals going at one another for the next couple of weeks. But overall, Wow, I can't believe it. We already covered the entire NXT event. On that note, look, production value standpoint, fantastic. Triple H and crew, great job as always. Can't find any complaints to say about the NXT Takeover event. The kickoff, let me just go back to the kickoff for a hot minute. I'm a little bit concerned about Renee Young. She seemed to be a little bit off a couple of points. Anytime my girl notices Renee Young's off, that's not a good thing because that means Renee Young was fumbling more than once. Saxton, Corey Graves, they did a great job. They shined. Speaking of Corey Graves, Byron Saxton, I also got to give them props. They did really good. I can't think of the guy that they're with. Forgive me. I always forget his name. And that's a bad thing because for me, I like paying attention to the commentators, especially when they sound, pretty on point, like they know their stuff. Mike Bennett, I might have that name wrong. Somebody we wrap this up, but whoever that guy is, I don't like his commentating. He seems rather off. He doesn't really seem like he knows what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying? There's stuff, and then there's I know what's happening with this match and talk about it with authority. And every time I hear him talk, he doesn't talk with authority. It's like he's constantly relying on the other people to help get him over. And I don't know. I hear he does other stuff in NXT, like I guess behind the scenes stuff as far as like production and all that goes. So I guess that's why he's probably still with the WWE for those of you that might be a little bit curious. But honestly, just give me Corey Graves, Byron Saxton, and give me Matt Bloom. I'll take those three guys any freaking day as far as NXT coverage goes. But the commentating, they did pretty good tonight, man. Good tonight. All right, so let's get to you guys' questions and comments right now. My favorite part of the show. Did I mention, by the way, how much I love Bayley and Charlotte? I love those girls. I told my girl, I said, Charlotte's my mistress. She said, well, what does that make me? I said, that makes you my baby. Let's get to you guys' comments here. Day Latin, the question is, will they use Samoa Joe correctly or will they just waste his talent? I honestly don't think so. To answer your question. I don't see that happening. I think at this point, and this is a really good message I'm going to send to everybody out there that's thinking this question right here. Enjoy the ride for what it's worth right now. Soak it in, relish in the fact that Samoa Joe is finally in the WWE. Took his ass long enough, but he's finally in the WWE. He's in like the best shape of his life right now. You might not have been able to tell as he had the shirt on, but he slimmed down dramatically. He's nice and toned up. You guys check out the image because we actually talked about it here on YouTube. I'll actually post a link, but if you follow Samoa Joe on Twitter, you'll see the image. I mean, it's been floating around all week. It's had a lot of people talking, but check it out. It's an awesome image, but just marvel in it. It's like, it's kind of like you see a really good movie. I'll give you a perfect example. I remember the first Avengers movie came out. And everybody was just, it's great. And then it was kind of like, whoa, what do you think's going to happen part two? And everybody was like, at least the people I was talking to, my friends and family, they were like, part two is going to be weak. It's not going to be as good as the first one. They're going to mess up. And sure enough, part two, some saying that part two, they actually enjoyed more than the first one. But one thing's for certain, it was a damn good sequel. Maybe one or two areas that kind of made, especially with Black Widow, not putting any spoilers out there, but when you think about Black Widow and all that and how she was on the hunt for some D, I'm being nice here. I got to make sure we keep it friendly. All right. But just enjoy it for what it's worth as far as Samoa in the WWE. And, honestly, see what happens in the next 2 months. Then I think, after about 2 months, 3 months, we can kick back and then we can just take in everything that had happened. But I mean, the way this is looking right now, we got, man, Kevin is like, he's got a bullseye on his back. I mean, he's rattled the cage of John Cena, so he's in that direction. Now you got Samoa Joe in his face, so you got that direction. And then if Kevin Owens really did attack Hideo Itami, you're kind of like, damn, Hideo's going to want some revenge. So you got 3 opponents right there. Then you got to think about Sami Zayn, his ass handed to him. When Sami Zayn is at 100%, when he's ready and willing and able, he's going to try to go for Kevin Owens as well. So, I mean, 4 rivalries right there. Oh, and don't also forget about Alex. He still has a hard on for Kevin Owens. I don't know if those two will ever lock it up again. I personally, I actually enjoyed those guys locking it up. But I mean, when you think about it, that's like 4 opponents right there, man. And eventually Finn Balor. Wow, we just forgot about that. Finn Balor, he's now the #1 contender. So I mean, yeah, 5 opponents right there, all eyeballing the hell out of Kevin Owens. How do you think this is going to end? I mean, this could be a scenario where if push comes to shove months down the road, there could be some type of like a 5-way match for that damn NXT championship. And it's like, are we guaranteed a new NXT champion? I love the way Kevin Owens is being booked right now. I mean, if you're a Kevin Owens fan, you can't help but be freaking a fan. You see the position that Samoa Joe is in. You're like, what a great spot for Samoa Joe to be in. I'm sure Dixie Carter and crew, they're probably looking at that and they're probably, I can just imagine Dixie Carter, God damn it, but let's continue on. Christian, on Samoa Joe's debut. His debut today on NXT was great. A Joe versus Steen rivalry would be a master. Oh, yeah, definitely. And this isn't the first time. I mean, Samoa Joe, Kevin Steen, we got to make sure we show love. These guys have history. They have faced each other before. Various promotions. Pro Wrestling Guerrilla definitely jumps out at me in my mind right now. Good luck seeing if you can find that online in its entirety, as those guys had locked it up in 2005. It was the Pro Wrestling Guerrilla again. See what else we got here. Jock, I was going to hold this until Monday, but after watching NXT, there is no way in hell that TNA should move to Wednesday nights, because everybody will either be watching Lucha Underground or NXT. In my opinion, they should move. Come on, Jock, talk about NXT, man. You're kind of getting a little bit sidetracked there. I mean, I appreciate the comment. As always, it's obvious, you care about the TNA promotion. I get that, but we're talking about NXT tonight. So if you saw NXT, you could definitely comment. We'll show you some love before we end the broadcast here. All right, let's see what we got here. Neff Mevia, I don't know what that comment is. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Wish I could answer that. Webb said at this point they should just cancel SmackDown and put NXT in its place. MPK, this was a really interesting show. Another NXT wrestling fan. It's amazing how the NXT title has more prestige than any other title on the main roster. It is kind of coming off that way, isn't it? Let's see what else we got here. Zachary, Samoa Joe, finally. I'm going to refresh this one more time and make sure we got everybody. Let's see. DJ, I wouldn't mind doing something, man. I'm always up for collaborations as long as it's on point. I'm at a point right now where I kind of don't want to carry somebody else. I don't want to carry somebody's workload. I kind of like to have my mind just be smoked out, if you will, and let the other person do their thing and know I don't have to come in and bail them out of a jam. You know what I'm saying? But I am up for collaborations. And let's see. CT Gaming, what's up, man? I'm a Kevin Owens fan, and honestly, I'm happy but confused. He's in a feud with 4 people. RN, WTF. What's RN? I know WTF, but what's RN? That starts saying Felicia Bye, Cray Cray. I just learned those two, so I'm happy about that. But what's RN? I feel where you're coming from, but you should be excited. You should be excited because I mean, if only this could be implemented on main WWE programming. And from what I understand, NXT's like writers, the creative team, it's a small group of people. I think it's like somewhere between 3 to 5, maybe 7 max that are able to just hammer this out. And then you think about what they do on the network every single week leading up to these NXT specials. I mean, these guys are doing a phenomenal job. I mean, the comment is always put out there, why can't they do what they do in NXT and implement it on the main roster? You know, especially as far as rivalries, new feuds, you know, new fresh matchups and all this. Like, why does it seem like on main WWE programming it's so hard compared to NXT, where the roster of what you see weekly is very small? It's much more smaller than what you get on main WWE programming, as you got Monday nights, a 3-hour show, and then you got SmackDown, that's 5 hours right there. Then you got 1 hour of main event, that's 6 hours. Then you have Superstars, that's 7 hours right there. Did I miss anything? I think I got everything right. So I mean that's 7 hours. I might be missing another show. I'm gonna say 8 just for the hell of it. That's 8 hours of WWE programming, and you've got like so many people that you've got to space out, but yet at the same time, it's at least for the 2 shows, 3 technically if you want to go with main event, but I don't know that many people that are like jumping and racing to get Hulu Plus so they can watch main event. So really home in on Raw and SmackDown. The argument is always put out there, why is it so hard to create fresh new rivalries on main programming? And it's like so freaking simple over an NXT. There's a lot that can be learned, especially from what we saw here tonight, when you just think about everything that has been built going for the next several NXT shows to follow leading up to the next NXT special. That is it for the RCWR show, reaction of NXT Takeover, Unstoppable. Bottom line, fantastic event. Go check it out. If you have not signed up for the WWE Network, now's the time, especially since you got Elimination Chamber coming up next week. And unless things change, and, you know, as far as what I said, we're probably still going to get to see Kevin Owens take on John Cena for that United States Championship belt. So that should be a damn good matchup. But for now, home in on NXT. If you didn't watch it, sign up for the network. If you're in North America, it's free. You have until the end of the month to enjoy all the original programming. All right. Another show in the books. Our next show, it will be a pre-recorded show. It'll be our 2nd edition of the RCWR Show Extra. This is something that we're rolling now Friday nights. It's basically about 15, maybe 20 minutes. I talk about some key pieces that I didn't get a chance to talk about on our Tuesday night podcast. It is produced by me. It's edited and produced very well. Some of you may actually like that more than some of our streams that we do during the week for you guys. Like I said, it's a bit of a companion piece to our podcast. So make sure you show that some love. We're going to put it out for the next Friday nights. Don't ask me what time we're going to put it out there. I know we'll try to have it out there. If not 9 o'clock at night, we'll definitely have it published 10 o'clock That's our goal. We hope. Sometimes stuff happens, but check that out. RCWR Show Extra. And also show some love, man. We had a really great conversation while we're talking WWE. We had a great conversation with former WWE superstar JTG of the group Crime Time. Right now, the conversation that we had with him is only a podcast. And then we actually had premiered that conversation we had with him just this past Tuesday. Well, less than 24 hours ago. So show that some love. Check it out. It's on the downloads right now. All right. I'll post a link for you guys so you can check it out. Or you can just check out the links in the episode description. We got the iTunes, all that. Whatever your respected device is, you'll be able to check out that conversation. I've been getting a lot of praise for that. A lot of people have reached out to me and told me how much they enjoyed the vibe out of the conversation. I got to show some love. I think it was Zargon. Zargon said that was by far one of his most favorite interviews that we've very enjoyable. So he loved it. So, check it out. A lot of people have been showing love. I appreciate that. Check it out and see. So, yeah, that's it. So Friday, we told you about extra. Coverage will be Monday night, May 25th, 11:15 p.m. Eastern. We'll come back on YouTube and we'll talk about that final Raw as it'll be setting up the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. And then for those of you that like the podcast will be on Tuesday night, May 26th p.m. Eastern on Spreaker.com. Check out all the links, all you need in the episode description. One more time, make sure you give this a thumbs up. You do that, you show your love and appreciation for us YouTube video creators. If you dislike, it's okay, man. I still got nothing but love for you. I don't hate. I appreciate. And I always appreciate those of you that take the time out to welcome us wherever you are, your home, your work, wherever. We appreciate it as always. All right, boys and girls, until next go round, please be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you. Is this the part where I say everybody take care? Yeah, it is. Everybody take care. Good night, good morning.